All right, welcome to Hoops Tonight here at The Volume. Happy Wednesday, everybody. Hope all of you guys are having a great week. I've had lots of people over the years ask for us to do more video edits because of the fact that it gives you a visual representation of the concepts that we talk on the show. So we're going to try that today. We're going to go over the Boston Celtics collapse against the Cleveland Cavaliers last night as they lost a 22-point lead with 9 minutes to go. Now, I did have a Celtics fan really quickly before we get started. I had a Celtics fan reach out to me last night and say, like, in a very friendly way, like, hey, go easy on us tomorrow. This kind of thing happens to everybody. And for the record, he's right. In an 82-game regular season, no matter how good you are, you're going to have ugly moments. That's not the point of this. Same thing happened to Denver last night. Denver, in my opinion, is the championship favorite. They had an ugly night last night. Their offense stalled out. Jokic had one of his worst games of the season. That kind of thing happens to everybody. However, this kind of constructive approach to like being self-aware and identifying what your problems are, that to me is an imperative stretch or step, I should say, on the road to a Larry O'Brien trophy. Got to look yourself in the mirror. Got to acknowledge what you suck at, what you're great at, how you can repeat the things you're great at, how you can minimize the things you suck at, because that can make the difference. If Boston loses, this is what it'll look like. Going ice cold from three, not finding a way to counter that with a more physical approach around the basket, and then not being as sharp defensively as they need to be given their personnel. So we're going to start on the defensive end of the floor. I want to start with how Dean Wade got hot. And really, it comes down to, this is not Boston's fault, in my opinion. This is kind of the coverage you're expecting in a game when you're up this big late. This is an example, though, of a big man guarding a shooter and their natural tendencies to not be as attached and how it can lead to a shooter getting comfortable. So we're going to start with a Karis LeVert pick and pop with Dean Wade on the left wing. And as you can see, when Kornet closes out, watch, he's got his arms out wide, but he's only about 15 feet from the rim. He's in a position where he's like, I'm not giving up a drive, and I'll offer a late contest. Totally acceptable defense, especially since Dean Wade wasn't shooting particularly well to this point in the game. But down 22, low stress situation, Dean Wade rises up and knocks down the shot. Next possession, or this is actually 2 possessions later because Karis LeVert got a little left-handed layup. It's a 17-point game now. So on this possession, we're going to get a flare screen for Dean Wade, and he's going to catch on the right wing. Same thing, Kornet's a little bit more active, right? Because he just made one, so he's a little closer, hand is up, but still, natural inclination to the center. You don't want to overreact to one made shot. Dean Wade hits a jab step 3. So that, to me, is acceptable in the flow of how the game had been going to that point. It's from this point, now that Dean Wade is actually hot, that the Boston starts making their defensive mistakes. So this is the first possession where Boston gets caught ball watching. This has been a consistent issue down the stretch of this game, even leading into the game winner for Dean Wade. But it's going to start with a dribble pitch with Dean Wade with Darius Garland. Wade's going to roll to the rim, and Al Horford's going to shut the action down by helping off of Isaac Okoro in the corner. Now, Jayson Tatum's tracking Georges Niang. If you watch him, he's looking, but this is more just know your personnel. Georges Niang is a flamethrower green light guy. Like, he's living for this type of shot. And most importantly, Isaac Okoro is not a threat with the basketball. You're not worried about him cooking Al Horford off the bounce. As Okoro makes his move into the lane, look, Al Horford has him completely cut off. He's firmly positioned between him and the rim. So Tatum is serving no purpose, sinking off of one of Cleveland's best shooters to help Al Horford when he doesn't need help. Easy kick out pass, Niang makes him pay. Now it's a 10-point game. Here's our game winner. It's 104-103, 35 seconds left. Darius Garland, after running some action with Dean Wade, is going to look to attack Kristaps Porzingis in the switch. So he passes out of it, gets it back, drives on Porzingis. Watch Jrue Holiday, though. Once again, Porzingis has this under control, and Jaylen Brown is in help. So Jaylen Brown has come over. Jrue Holiday is sinking down into the lane and helping where he doesn't need help, and Dean Wade is just going to sneak right behind him for the putback. So again, just like losing the shooter, that ball watching actually cost Boston the game here as they lose a box out on Dean Wade. 2 times Jrue Holiday down the stretch. We also had a Jaylen Brown, and we also had a Jayson Tatum ball watching possession. All right, now let's look at the offensive end of the floor. Cleveland had just scored 5 consecutive points on a Dean Wade 3 and on a Karis LeVert layup. Need your best player to kind of start to assert himself and take control of the game. He's got a great matchup with Sam Merrill on him. We're going to get a ball screen with Kornet. Merrill does a really nice job fighting over the top and getting back in front of Tatum. There's 13 on the shot clock. Tatum is going to rise into a pull-up, kind of like a weird broke rhythm, like 14-footer. Big thing here is Jayson Tatum shoots 42% on pull-up twos. That's 0.84 points per shot. That is, again, in the middle of the shot clock like that, probably not the best or most valuable shot he can get to, right? That's the issue there. Instead of hunting the best possible shot, Tatum just took a shot that for him is particularly low value. And then not only that, the shot points per shot doesn't really matter to the individual possession. He's going to miss that shot 58% of the time. So when the shots aren't falling, you want to be physically aggressive towards the rim, right? I really like this possession from Jayson Tatum. He's going to catch at the elbow off of a pin screen. This puts Isaac Okoro in a trailing position and opens up a relatively simple rip through to the right for Jayson Tatum. He rips through to the right, engages Georges Niang in help, and shoots a tough layup, but he's done his job. He's engaged the rim protector. Watch Luke Kornet. Luke Kornet has inside position on Darius Garland. He's going to get an offensive rebound putback here most of the time. Just a really unfortunate bounce. Tatum gets none of the rim and shoots it way over the backside. Like any other type of layup miss there, Kornet's getting an offensive rebound putback. That is a really high percentage play, even though it didn't result in points, because Jayson Tatum made a physically aggressive move to the paint and engaged the rim protector. Now we're going to get another good Boston possession. This is a Jrue Holiday, Al Horford ball screen. He's going to get Sam Merrill switched onto him. They're going to make the post entry to Horford, and Horford makes a physically aggressive move on Merrill and scores close to the basket with a little bank shot. All right, now we're going to get the first of a bunch of pick and pop threes that the Celtics take here down the stretch. Pick and pop or just general kick out above the break three. So it's going to be Derek White, Kristaps Porzingis pick and pop. Niang does a good job helping and rotating. Porzingis, though, still good look, just misses it. The main point I want to make here down the stretch as you look at these shots, it's not so much about whether or not this is a good shot over the course of a 48-minute game. Because of course it is. Boston is a good above-the-break three-point shooting team. And if you stretch it out over hundreds of possessions, Porzingis shoots 38.7% or whatever it is he shoots, like just under 39% on above-the-break threes. So like in the aggregate, it's going to be a shot that works out well for you. But on a single possession, there's a 61% chance that it misses. And it's very possible, especially in a game like this, where it's a raucous environment and the palms are getting sweaty and it's getting super intense, those shots do tend to go cold from time to time. And the bigger issue is it doesn't matter how valuable these shots are in the big picture if on the individual possession they're resulting in misses. Porzingis misses the pick and pop three. Now we're going to get a Jaylen Brown, Jrue Holiday pick and pop. Jrue Holiday on above the break threes this year, 36.9%. That means there is a 63.1% chance he's going to miss this shot. And that doesn't even factor in, like I had mentioned, the intensity of this game. Boston is running actions that are designed to lead to that type of shot. Now, what they're trying to do is pick on Darius Garland, right? They're trying to get Darius Garland switched. But the coverage that Cleveland is using is a hedge and recover. So Darius Garland's going to see how he lunges out and sticks his hand out. All he's trying to do there is stop Jaylen Brown from turning the corner and driving to the basket. After he's done that lunge, he's going to recover back to Jrue Holiday, right? So the counter to a hedge and recover is a pick and pop three. So by running this action, you are naturally developing a pick and pop three because of the coverage that Cleveland is in. And we just know from the previous possessions, Boston is cold at this point. So you're running actions that are getting you a shot that you're struggling to knock down in this particular moment. Once again, now we got a Jayson Tatum, Derek White ball screen. We're going to get the same sort of hedge and recover from Garland, right? So he hedges, he recovers back. Then Tatum tries to go to work on Jarrett Allen. I actually didn't hate this move because he got so close to the basket. Did miss Jrue Holiday for a wide open catch and shoot three on the weak side. And Jrue Holiday in particular is really good out of the corners. So that would have been an interesting option. But this is that shot, that short range, little short pull up that I actually like. Tatum just needs to get better at it. This needs to be a shot like for Kawhi Leonard or for KD that Tatum can make 55, 60% of the time. Love this from Boston. So we're going to get a Derek White, Kristaps Porzingis two-man game off of the left wing. It's 103.99. They need a basket badly. So Cleveland is icing the screen. What that means is Darius Garland is refusing Derek White the angle to actually use the ball screen and forcing him to drive down into Jared Allen. The natural counter to an ice is a pick and pop. So this is another action that's designed to lead to a pick and pop three. Porzingis is going to catch, and he's going to turn to rip towards the right off of the hard Jared Allen closeout, right? On this possession, this is a possession where Boston often will just stand around on the perimeter, but instead Jrue Holiday cuts out of that weak side wing, and when he cuts back door, Porzingis hits him and he gets a wide open layup. Now, let's pause for a second. What has worked for Boston so far down the stretch? We had an Al Horford post up of a mismatch that he made. We had a Jayson Tatum miss at the rim that should have ended in an offensive rebound putback. It was just bad luck. We had a physically aggressive Kristaps Porzingis post move at closer to the rim where he made a hook shot, and we had a backdoor cut out of the weak side wing. When you're in games like this, that kind of stuff is way more resilient than long distance jump shooting. It just is. And so hunting those sorts of opportunities and using the three-point shot as a counter rather than running actions that are designed and are going to result in above-the-break three-point shots is a way to avoid this specific situation. This is an example of Tatum just rushing. So it's 103-101 with 111 left. If you execute and get a bucket here, you're in a tie game, you trust your defense, you feel good about your chances to win the game. They're going to run the ball screen and get a switch. Now, Tatum has Georges Niang on him right now. Porzingis has Jared Allen on him right now. There are 15 seconds on the shot clock. Calm down. Dribble over to the right wing and make a move. Instead, Tatum spazzes and drives right away while Jared Allen is already in position to help. So as a result of that, Jared Allen's in position to help. Kristaps Porzingis, we're getting another above-the-break three. If Tatum just slows down and dribbles off to the right, maybe even clears the side on the right side, he might be able to beat Niang all the way to the basket. It's just, there's 14 seconds on the shot clock there, and he's just not comfortable enough to slow down and let the play develop. So to tie it all together, the basic gist of it is, on the defensive end of the floor, Dean Wade got hot because of the natural stuff that's going to happen, especially in a game like that, especially in that matchup. But after Dean Wade got hot, a combination of bad offense leading to you getting into transition chaos situations where shooters got open, and then ball watching, not identifying that your on-ball defender and your in-help defender is in position to deal with that action and staying home on the shooters, not identifying that gave wide open threes to Georges Niang, wide open threes to Dean Wade, and the missed box out from Jrue Holiday that led to the game winner. So on the defensive end of the floor, ball watching and not staying glued up to the red hot shooters. On the offensive end of the floor, as I've talked about so much this year, when you get into games like this, jumpers have a tendency to miss. Like, just think about it. All those great looks, and you missed all of them. Why is that? It's because in that environment, the palms are sweaty, everyone's nervous, everyone's adrenaline is pumping. It's harder to get to your muscle memory on those shots. Also, there is a psychology. The team knows they're getting cold. They know the shots are missing. And you scored every single bucket down the stretch for you was either an offensive rebound putback, a run out in transition off of a defensive play, a back cut off of the weak side wing, or an aggressive move in the post towards the basket. Those are the only things that worked for you offensively in this game down the stretch. But you repeatedly ran actions against the hedge and recover and against the ice coverage that naturally are going to develop above the break threes, which is shooting the mid-30s on, which means you're going to miss 2/3 of the time even on your best day. You're going to miss 2/3 of the time in the aggregate, and this was not your best day. This was a day when it was cold and it wasn't going in. And so if Boston wants to get to the promised land, if they want to hoist the Larry O'Brien trophy, they have to be way more diligent about getting the best possible shot for them in those situations, especially when they can identify that the three-point shot is not comfortable for them in that moment. And then on the defensive end of the floor, they can buy themselves margin for error. This is not an issue. The offense is literally not an issue if you just stay glued up to your shooters off the ball. So these are fixable problems. And if Boston fixes them, they have the talent to hoist the trophy. But these are the types of things that they have to fix.